Have you ever noticed how a woman can smile at you, laugh at your jokes, and even hang out with you every day, yet deep down, she simply does not respect you? She will happily take your time, your energy, and your undivided attention whenever she needs it. But the very second a certain type of man walks into the room, everything changes. Suddenly, she is on high alert. Her tone of voice changes, her body language shifts, and her eyes lock onto him with an intensity you have never received. You are left standing there, invisible, wondering what the hell just happened. Today, I'm exposing the cold, hard truth about why women only respect one specific kind of man. If you do not become this man, you are destined to remain a ghost in your own life forever. Respect is not something you beg for, it is something you command through the way you exist in the world. Most men think they can negotiate respect through kindness or by being a nice guy. They think that if they give enough, care enough, and sacrifice enough, respect will eventually be granted as a reward for their service. That is the greatest lie modern society has ever told you. Women do not respect men who are easy to walk over. They respect men who have a backbone of steel and a spirit that cannot be tamed by a simple smile or a pretty face. Let us start with the most fundamental law of the masculine universe. Respect starts and ends with self-respect. Women can sniff out desperation like a shark smells a single drop of blood in a vast, dark ocean. If your energy constantly screams, "Please pick me," you have already lost the battle before it even began. When you act like you will do anything just so she does not leave, you are projecting a value of zero. People, especially women, are biological mirrors that reflect exactly how you treat yourself. If you treat your own time, your own goals, and your own dignity like an afterthought, why should she treat you like a priority? Confidence is not about having a massive bank account or muscles that look like inflated balloons. True confidence is the quiet, unshakable knowledge that you are enough, exactly as you are. It is the ability to look someone in the eye and signal that if they do not see your worth, it is their loss, not yours. That kind of magnetic energy is what draws respect out of people, often without you even saying a single word. The second pillar of respect is the ability to set and enforce rigid, uncompromising boundaries. This is exactly where most men fail miserably in the landscape of modern dating. They mistake unlimited tolerance for love, but love without boundaries is just chaos with a filtered lens on it. If a woman cancels on you 10 times, mocks your dreams, or disrespects your time, and you still stick around, what are you teaching her? You're training her to treat you like garbage because you have accepted the role of a doormat. You're essentially telling the world that your dignity has a price tag of $0. The man a woman respects is never cruel, but he's always firm and immovable. He is the guy who can look at a situation and say, "No, that does not work for me," without flinching or feeling a hint of guilt. Women test your boundaries not because they hate you, but because they subconsciously need to know if you can lead them. If you cannot even lead yourself to stand up for your own values, she knows you can never lead a family or a shared future. If you fail the boundary test, she might still be nice to your face, but in her heart, she sees you as a servant, not a king. Now, we must talk about the most painful but powerful tool in a man's arsenal, the ability to walk away. This demands a level of courage that most men simply do not possess in today's world. When you are disrespected, ignored, or treated like a spare tire, you do not argue, you do not explain, and you do not beg. You do not leave 20 crying voicemails at 2 in the morning hoping for a response. You simply walk away, and more importantly, you do not look back to see if she is watching. Silence and absence are the loudest, most deafening forms of power a man can project. There's a dark irony in human nature. People often only realize the weight of your presence once they feel the cold void of your absence. Respect, like a delayed package, often shows up at the door only after you have already left the building and moved on. But by the time she realizes what she lost, you should be miles away, building a life that does not depend on her validation. If your entire existence revolves around chasing a woman, you have already lost your way as a man. A man without a mission is a man without a soul and without a future. Respect comes naturally when you're too busy building something bigger than a simple relationship. A man with a purpose is untouchable because his happiness is not tied to a text message reply or a social media like. He is grinding, he is creating, and he is improving his physical and mental state every single day. Women respect that because it signals leadership, direction, and a solid backbone. Ask yourself honestly right now, are you living like a man on a mission? Or like a delivery boy waiting for someone else to place an order? A man with no mission becomes a servant to everyone else's desires and whims. But the man who knows exactly where he is going does not have to chase respect. It comes running to him. Another critical trait is the total mastery of your own emotions and your internal state. We have all seen the guy who loses his mind because he did not get a reply in 5 minutes, or the man who sulks like a child when he does not get constant validation for his every move. That is not love. That is psychological weakness, disguised as affection. A man who is respected does not bottle up his emotions, but he certainly does not drown in them either. He is the calm, steady hand in the middle of a raging storm. He remains sharp under pressure and unshaken when he is tested by life, by business, or by a partner. If you cannot even control your own temper or your own insecurities, why would anyone believe you can handle the challenges of life? Control your fire, or it will surely consume everything you have worked so hard to build. True respect is commanded through actions, never through words, tweets, or empty promises. Women do not respect men who try to talk their way into being respected or respected by association. They respect the men who embody strength and integrity through their daily consistent habits. You can preach about being a real man all day on social media, but if your actions scream insecurity, your words are just background noise. Stop announcing your worth to the world and start living it so clearly that no explanation is ever required. Keep the promises you make to yourself first before you ever make a promise to anyone else. Follow through on your commitments, even when you are tired, discouraged, or bored. Work in the silence of the night and let your results do the shouting for you. Respect is earned in the small, boring things you do when absolutely no one is watching. This brings us to the harshest pill of all to swallow: the man who does not need her. Women respect men who choose them, not men who need them just to survive another day. The very second a woman becomes your only source of oxygen, you have already started to suffocate your own potential. Neediness is just slavery with a different name and a prettier face. A man who is whole and complete on his own is a man who is truly free and truly powerful. He enjoys her presence, he cherishes her company, but his world does not collapse into dust if she walks away. That level of independence is terrifyingly attractive to the feminine spirit. It shows that you are the captain of your own ship, and she is a welcome passenger, not the engine that keeps you moving. At the end of the day, gaining respect is not rocket science. It is primal psychology. It is about returning to the core principles of masculinity that the modern world has tried to make you forget. Women respect men who respect themselves first and foremost. They respect men who have clear, visible boundaries and the courage to enforce them. They respect men who are on a mission and cannot be easily distracted by trivial drama or gossip. They respect men who master their emotions and lead through their consistent actions. If you want to be that man, you have to stop looking for permission from society or from her. You have to stop waiting for someone to give you the respect you think you deserve. You have to take it by becoming the best, most formidable version of yourself. Build your body, build your mind, and build your financial empire from the ground up. The moment you stop caring whether she respects you or not is often the exact moment she truly starts. Because a man who does not need external validation is the only man who can truly lead a life worth living. Do not be the man waiting by the phone like a lost puppy. Be the man who is too busy changing the world to even notice the phone is ringing. That is the only way to stay visible in a world that wants to make you disappear. The truth stings, but it is the only thing that will ever truly heal your soul. If you have been living as the invisible man, today is the day that cycle ends. Stand up, pull your shoulders back, and start valuing your own existence above all else. The world will follow your lead, but only if you are actually out there leading the way. Let's dive deeper into the psychology of the nice guy trap that destroys respect in the Western world. In the United States and Europe, men are often conditioned to believe that being agreeable is the key to a happy life. We are told from a young age that happy wife, happy life is the ultimate wisdom for a successful marriage. But look around you. Are the men following that advice actually happy, fulfilled, or respected? Usually they are the most miserable, overlooked, and cheated on men in the room. The nice guy isn't actually nice. He is transactional and manipulative. He acts nice because he is terrified of conflict, and he wants something in return, usually sex, attention, or validation. Women see right through this thin mask of kindness almost instantly. They see the hidden contract you're trying to force them into signing without their consent. When you are too nice, you are actually being fundamentally dishonest with yourself and with her. You are hiding your true desires, your true opinions, and your true self because you are afraid of losing her presence. And nothing kills respect faster than a blatant lack of authenticity. A man who agrees with everything a woman says is a man with no identity of his own. If you have no identity, you have no value in the social hierarchy. If you have no value, you have no ground to stand on to demand respect. It is a brutal, self-reinforcing cycle that millions of men are stuck in right now. To break this cycle, you must embrace what I call the conflict of growth. Respect is often forged in the intense fires of healthy disagreement. When you stand your ground on something you believe in, even if it makes her angry in the short term, you are earning a long-term deposit of respect. She realizes that you are a man of principle who cannot be bought with a smile. She realizes that your yes actually means something because you are capable of saying no. If you never say no, your yes is statistically worthless. Think about that for a second and let it sink into your mind. In the West, where independence and personal freedom are the highest cultural values, a man who lacks his own direction is seen as a liability. Women are looking for a rock to lean on, not a piece of driftwood floating wherever the current takes it. A rock is heavy, it is solid, and it doesn't move just because the wind blows a bit harder. When the storms of life hit, and they always do, people instinctively look for the rock. If you are the rock, you don't have to ask for respect. People naturally gravitate towards you. But you cannot be a rock for someone else until you have become a rock for yourself. This means taking full 100% responsibility for every single aspect of your current life. Your health, your finances, your mental state, your failures. It is all on you. Stop blaming the economy. Stop blaming your parents, and stop blaming your ex-girlfriend. The man who takes responsibility is the man who takes power. The man who takes power is the man who commands respect from every room he enters. Let's talk about the specific, actionable language of boundaries in the 21st century. Boundaries are not about controlling her behavior. They're about controlling what you will tolerate in your presence. There is a massive, life-changing difference between those two things. Control says, you cannot go out with your friends tonight. A boundary says, I am a man who values a partner who respects our relationship. And if you choose to act otherwise, I am not the right man for you. One is a desperate demand for power. The other is a standard of high value. A man with standards is a man of high value that people are afraid to lose. When you communicate your standards clearly, calmly, and without anger, you aren't being an alpha male caricature. You are being a mature, self-assured leader of your own life. And leaders are respected by default. Followers are merely tolerated until they are no longer useful. Which one of those roles have you been playing lately? If you look at the truly successful, respected men throughout history, none of them were people pleasers. They all had a dark side, a capacity for aggression and assertiveness that they kept under strict control. Jordan Peterson often says that a harmless man is not actually a good man. A good man is a very dangerous man who has his sharp sword kept firmly in its scabbard. If you don't even have a sword, you aren't being peaceful. You're just harmless and weak. And the world, quite frankly, has zero respect for the harmless. You must develop your sword, your skills, your physical strength, and your ability to be formidable. Then and only then, you must choose to be kind and gentle. That is where true masculine respect is born and cultivated. It is the conscious choice to be gentle when you have the power to be otherwise. That is the man women lock their eyes on when he walks into a crowded room. They feel the latent power radiating off of him. They feel the disciplined energy that he carries like a cloak. They feel the silence that speaks volumes about his character. This silence is not empty or awkward. It is full of potential and strength. It tells her that you aren't looking for her approval to feel good about your own skin. It tells her that your internal compass is set to your own North Star, not hers. Most men are terrified of silence and try to fill it with nervous chatter. They tell bad jokes, they talk too much, and they constantly check their phones for a hit of dopamine. They are trying to escape the discomfort of just being themselves in the present moment. But the man who can sit in silence, comfortable in his own skin, is the man who owns the room. He doesn't need to perform like a circus animal for attention. He doesn't need to dance or beg for a scrap of validation. He just is. And his presence is enough to command the space. And that being is what ultimately commands deep, lasting respect. Now let's address the concept of the man who walks away in even more detail. Walking away is not a tactical game or a trick to get her to chase you back. If you do it as a game, you have already failed because your focus is still entirely on her reaction. True walking away is a total, permanent shift of your internal reality. It is the recognition that your peace of mind is more important than any relationship on earth. It is the understanding that you would rather be alone and respected than in a relationship and humiliated every day. When a woman sees that you are truly, authentically willing to lose her to maintain your dignity, her perception of you changes instantly. She realizes that she cannot own you or control your emotions. She realizes that your presence in her life is a privilege she must maintain, not a right she can ignore. This creates a healthy level of fear of loss that is absolutely essential for long-term respect and attraction. Without the possibility of you leaving, there is no incentive for her to bring her best self to the relationship. Human beings are biologically wired to value things that are scarce and that can be permanently lost. If you are always there, always available, and always forgiving of every single act of disrespect, you have made yourself a commodity. You are like air, everywhere, free, and completely taken for granted until it's gone. You need to be like gold, valuable, hard to find, and required to be earned through consistent effort. This doesn't mean playing games or being hard to get in a fake way. It means actually being hard to get because you are genuinely busy with your mission. It means your time is actually limited because you are focused on achieving your grand goals. It means your attention is a high-value asset because you don't give it away for free to just anyone. This leads us to the final, most important truth: the man with a purpose. In the West, we are told to follow our hearts, but your heart is a fickle, emotional organ. It wants what it wants in the heat of the moment, but it has no long-term vision or strategy. Your mission, however, is your legacy and your anchor in this world. Whether it's building a business, mastering a complex craft, or providing for your community, your mission gives you a reason to wake up. It is a reason that is far bigger and more important than a woman's changing mood. When a man has a mission, his posture naturally changes to support the weight of it. His voice deepens because he is speaking from a place of authority. His eyes become focused like a laser on the horizon. He carries himself with the weight of responsibility that commands respect from men and women alike. Women are naturally biologically drawn to this weight and this direction. They want to be part of a man's world that is actually moving somewhere meaningful. They don't want to be the center of a world that is standing still and waiting for them to lead. If you make a woman the center of your universe, you have given her a job she never asked for and isn't equipped to handle. She will eventually grow to resent you for the pressure you have placed on her shoulders. She will feel the suffocating pressure of being your everything, and she will eventually run away from it. But if you are the sun and she is a planet in your stable orbit, everything stays in perfect balance. The sun doesn't chase the planets to keep them around. The sun just burns bright, stays in its place, and holds everything together through its own massive gravity. Become the sun in your own life starting today. Burn so bright with your own purpose and your own fire that others cannot help but be drawn into your gravity. Stop asking for respect from the world. Stop begging for attention from women who don't see your value. Stop acting like a servant in a kingdom where you were born to be a powerful king. Today is the day you reclaim your throne and your dignity. It starts with a simple, quiet decision made in the privacy of your own mind. A decision to value yourself above all the noise of the world. A decision to say no to things that do not serve your higher purpose. A decision to walk away from anything and anyone that doesn't respect your standards. A decision to be the man who commands respect through the simple, powerful act of existing on his own terms. The road ahead is not an easy one to walk. It will require you to face your deepest, darkest insecurities and your greatest fears of being alone. It will require you to be lonely for a while as you tear down the old house and rebuild a stronger foundation. But on the other side of that intense struggle is a version of you that is truly unshakable. A version of you that doesn't look for respect in the eyes of a woman, but finds it in the reflection in the mirror every morning. And once you find it there, you will never have to look for it anywhere else ever again. Because the world always, without exception, respects a man who knows exactly who he is and where he is going. Stay focused on the path. Stay disciplined in your habits. And never ever compromise your self-respect for a fleeting moment of comfort or validation. That is the only way to become the man who is truly visible and truly powerful. That is the only way to become the man she respects with every fiber of her being. Now go out there and start building the life you were meant to lead from the beginning. The world is waiting for you to step up and take your rightful place. Don't let them wait even one more second. This is your time to shine. This is your journey to complete. This is your mission to fulfill. Become the man that cannot be ignored by anyone. Become the man that commands the room with his powerful silence. Become the man that every woman respects, because he respects himself more than anything else in this world. That is the ultimate savage truth that will set you free. Now, take that truth and turn it into massive, consistent action. Because respect is earned in the doing, not just in the thinking or the talking. Start now, right this very second. The clock is ticking on your potential, and every second counts. Don't waste another moment of your life being invisible or overlooked. Be the man you were born to be. Command the respect that you have earned. Live the mission with everything you have. This is the path of the masculine elite, and it starts with you. Welcome to the journey of a lifetime. I will see you at the top.